Live from the Mainstream Cannabis Media Empire, I'm Travis Lippert, CEO of Veedverks Unlimited Limited, better known as Veedverks.
And I'm Michael Miller, International Marketing Director for PanaceaLife.com.
I'm Devin Sharp. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
This is good.
I thought we were going around. I'm Devin Sharp, CEO of Hemp Nectar.
Nice.
Amy Sharp, CEO of Sharp Solutions Courier.
Great. And what I was going to interrupt with, it's a beautiful day outside.
It is a beautiful day outside.
It is a beautiful day.
Really. I think we're getting some hints of spring a little bit.
It's tomorrow.
You know? Is it really tomorrow?
3:58 p.m.
Wow.
How's that sound? Somebody let me know. Hey, what's up? Robert, no one joined. That's awesome. He's got.
Hey, Robert.
Fun
Thanks
to
for
talk to you
joining.
about him. I'm dicking with the audio right now, so
You're what?
If, messing with the audio to try and make that sound right.
No, it doesn't matter. We don't care.
We're not FAA.
No, we don't care. We fling out some F-bombs here and there.
Speaking of F-bombs, I read that Patty Zanine has hurt her back out there in Kansas.
Oh.
And is going, so
That's a shame.
Thoughts about Patty right now?
Yes, for sure.
Hope she gets well soon.
I think she had like a CAT scan done and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
What, did she fall?
I don't know.
I haven't heard. I just know
Patty?
that they took her to the hospital and she's having something.
Let's take our show there to Kansas, to her hospital bed.
We're doing that.
Patty's hand. What do you have to say? In a heartbeat.
Patty, we're thinking of you.
Hope you get well soon.
I am so emotionally committed to what she's got going on in Elkhorn, Kansas, that I've been thinking of all these different ways to be a part of it.
Are you from Kansas?
Yeah, I was just going to ask. I know your dad's there, your family's there. I didn't know if you were born and raised.
Devin went to college there.
In Atchison.
Really?
Yeah.
What college is that?
Benedictine College.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Here, believe it.
So after Benedictine College, what are you doing these days?
There we go.
Just so you guys know.
After Benedictine College, that was a lifetime ago. Yeah.
You played some soccer in your life?
Once upon a time, yeah, that, again, a lifetime ago. It was...
I like when someone as young as him says a lifetime.
You started...
Hey, I'm 48 years old.
I'm 10 years older.
I'm not a spring chicken.
Yes, you are.
And you look great. So
Thanks.
It's, well, once upon a time. But, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. But that's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing now. And we... have a farm that we've break ground on this summer, or I should say in the next month or two. And then we're going to be opening up a processing center, and we'll be doing just about what everybody else is doing at this point in time, but we're going to try to do it a little differently. We're going to try to be a specialty lab where we focus on quality product and doing CBD and CBG and CBNs and doing actually the isolation through so that, we have the ability to offer specific cannabinoids to different prospective buyers. And that's what we're looking to do, is try to be something outside of that. And, also kind of on a larger scale, do a lot of, I should say, cleaning for other people that aren't going to be able to take their, there's a lot of companies out there that are going to produce in crude, and we're just looking to maybe possibly go beyond that and doing distillate and isolate for them to clean that up and do toll work. And it's same as everybody else, but it's a fun endeavor that.
So hemp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna.
You said a farm.
We have 100. We secured 120 acres out east on certified organic land.
In Colorado?
Here in Colorado. We have access to 900 acres. So if there's anybody that's looking, reach out. We still have some acreage that's available. We know that we're not trying to bite off more than we can chew. 120 acres is a lot of acreage. People, hear that.
5 acres.
Oh yeah,
is
I
huge.
can do that.
Yeah. No.
It's a lot, but it's something that we're gonna be able to sustain our own. Part of what we were looking at doing is making sure that when we're growing our product, it basically vertically integrating our system.
Sure.
So, that's one of the biggest fears out there right now is getting product from other companies, and you get one set of tests, and then as soon as you get it, you test it something else, and it shows something else, and you're always at the mercy of other farmers. and we're trying to not be here. There's going to be some absolutely monstrous companies out there, and eventually those companies will come and buy us out. But in the meantime, we're just looking to kind of fulfill a little niche, and we'll be able to sustain our own product all the way through. And in doing so, we know what we're putting in the ground, we know what we're pulling out of the ground, and we know what we're putting through our machines, and then that way we know what we're selling to our customers.
That's a lot of acres for your first
100.
run. 120?
120.
That's a lot. My buddy has 25, and it's a monster.
It's
So
huge.
when it comes to
harvest,
so an entire
harvest
is it
time?
irrigated?
Oh yeah.
So it's an entire circle of irrigated land.
Exactly.
Basically.
So essentially, on the pivot,
Yeah.
we have a pivot that we're going to be growing on, and that's just the way that the water system is set up. And it's really great. The farmer that we're working with is a true farmer. He's excited about doing this. He's a true partner. We'll have all the hands that we need to be able to sustain the land, because he brings in hands to grow on his 900 acres every year. And all we're going to do right now is subsidize some of those acres into hemp, and he's going to continue growing his crops on whatever we don't fill.
Are you allowed to grow hemp in a maze-like pattern?
That's amazing.
Wait, what's the difference between a maze and is it a labyrinth?
A
What was it?
labyrinth.
Yeah, what's the difference?
A labyrinth does not have an exit point.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah. So you would. I think a labyrinth might be legal in Kansas, but like if you grow 100 hemp plants, spread them out like that's okay. And that top one or that middle one's okay, but if you grow it in a maze-like pattern, you're not allowed to do that in Kansas this year because they wrote the regulation like that. Trying to stop me from doing
I
that.
wonder who instigated that.
Yeah.
For all the
about
farmers out there that wanted to turn their hemp farm into a maze.
They
What is
didn't
the
want to
point of that? I
have.
don't
They
get
didn't
it.
want to have a Halloween maze
Right.
field for hemp.
Yeah.
And that's the
And
reason
so-
why
yeah.
they made it that way, is so
Yes.
that you couldn't have entertainment factor with your hemp.
But they didn't write that out. They just said you can't make a maze.
Never
And
said
so
why.
I called them to confirm. Was it last week or was it yesterday?
I think yesterday, because you posted it up. I thought,
It must have been. No, I think it must have been last week when I.
well,
when
you
I called
posted
them.
it numerous times. It's
interesting.
dear to your heart.
The new. So now, because they wrote the regulation that way, you cannot plant in a maze shape, because then they'd have to change the regulation to say, okay, you can make a maze, but as long as nobody can come to it. That's
not-
but
not
they
for
won't allow
entertainment
that.
purposes.
They won't allow that. So we'll keep
shame.
working on it, because they didn't ban
Saw
like
those-
crop art. And so there's this crop artist named Stan Hurd, who's done a bunch of. If you've ever seen crop art, it was probably his art.
Yeah.
And
Is he the
Wasn't the
alien
aliens?
that goes around the world making these things?
no crop circles. I don't think. Maybe.
Some of those are amazing.
What if we grow
What?
for some of you cotton farmers that are spraying Roundup on your stuff, and you're going to have to remediate your land before you can grow any cannabinoids on there and get a real buy for it. But one thing that we could do is plant a bunch of hemp with a crop duster, fiber, and then make a crop circle and test the crop circle parts. They didn't ban that in Kansas,
Okay.
but we'll make some art.
Go mention it. Get it in the report. Every time you get knocked down in writing, it's a badge of honor. So ask them
gives
about
us something
the crop
to talk about.
circles.
Yeah.
The Lippert.
We're gonna make some art this year, I think, because you're doing a whole circle like
Well, that's a
with that
lot of
100
circles, right?
So there's
it's
that's I
multiple
was drawing that out on the paper too. Like, this is the lives that we're all leading right now, but like one of those big circles that you fly over. The square that it would cover is 160 acres, but the actual, because of pi r squared, is the actual irrigated land is like 120
120.
acres. So you're doing a full
Yeah,
circle.
we're doing a full pivot circle. Yeah.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yes.
Not in Kansas.
Not in Kansas. You
Kansas,
can
no.
only do 80. You can only do half a circle. And
Yeah.
Patty's farmers, she told us, are growing about 25 acres each, which is, 20, basically the irrigated part of a quarter pivot, plus some. And so that other quarter pivot is still within the hemp research area that's allowed, but they're not planning on growing hemp. So I want to make a big maze out of something other than hemp, and then plant one hemp plant in the middle of it. Be like, yeah, that'd
be corny.
I get it. So, how are you going to extract your hemp? CO2?
No,
Ethanol?
we're going to do ethanol. Yeah.
Okay.
I just for the cost effectiveness of it. I appreciate CO2. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. I just when you're looking at doing larger scale and the time that it takes and the cost, there's a definite cost factor when you're working with ethanol opposed to CO2. So and plus, I've got guys that are going to be running our labs that are that know what they're doing, and they've done it before, and I've seen good results.
Sure.
So
Panacea does ethanol, but at the new facility, we'll do both.
Yeah.
CO2 and ethanol.
You guys are a little bigger than we are.
I'm not even. No, I'm just that's it. Charity. So you have a charity company. Amy Sharp.
Yeah, so I was thinking of this great transition. So you guys have the same last name, so I suppose you've met. You
Brother,
always
sister,
think
or
that-
what?
We're from Kansas.
No, we gotta say that Oklahoma. That's Oklahoma.
Arkansas. No, this is my wife, Amy.
Amy, how you doing?
Hi.
Where'd you grow up?
Fort Lauderdale.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you meet in Atchison, Kansas?
No,
we
I
didn't.
fished her out of Fort Lauderdale.
Really?
Yeah. I was
10
down
years
there
ago.
doing real estate and pursuing some golf, and met her. She was a bartender,
met 15 years
and
ago.
I was her Friday night golf guy. Every Friday night I'd go into her bar, and one night I asked her out, and the rest is history. Yeah.
How long have you been married?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, the rest has been great.
How long have you been married?
We've
7.5
been married
years,
for
but
7
together
years,
15.
coming up on 7 years.
Wow, 15.
She adds.
I always add like
she
another
adds
year.
You
years.
gotta round up, right?
So we're coming
Year
up
and a
on
half.
7 years, and we've been
together
together for
15.
about 15.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I was led to believe we were going to talk about transporting hemp across state lines. Who's going to be telling
Well,
me?
no, we're not.
No, we're not.
I thought we had a logistic person coming on, but we don't.
Oh, we're not.
No.
Nick and Georgia,
My bad.
Georgia Forsey and Nick Cox, they work for my company. And so I was going to bring them on today. We didn't know if it'd be too crowded to have too many chairs
Yeah.
or what.
It doesn't matter.
We're going to
Stack.
upgrade. This whole place is just going to be painted green here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's, we're going to continue to upgrade some technology.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But with extraction, though, that's what doesn't make sense to me, or that seems like something that should be worked on really hard in, say, Kentucky, because Panacea was buying hemp from Kentucky and had to get it to Colorado, and you had to ship a great big semi full of hemp, whereas if it were extracted in Kentucky, then just smaller truck.
It depends. If you're going to extract it to crude, it won't be legal, or distillate won't be legal.
I'm just saying it will be
Right.
smaller.
Right. Yeah, but you would have to convert it really to isolates to get them across state lines, because all crude's illegal.
You're gonna have too much.
Yeah, it's hot. The THC level's too hot. And most distillates, unless you get into chromatography with your distillates, it's too hot as well.
It wasn't you. I think I was talking to Bob Esquino about that problem, that issue where you're growing hemp in a state, you've got to get it to another state, and you can't turn it into something that has more than 0.3% THC. And so I had an idea, like you could have a fleet of extract it, but then dilute it in ethanol, and then take it back here and extract out the ethanol, and then take it back there. But even that, though, it's all a matter, that would shrink it down, but it wouldn't solve the overall weight problem, because you've got to, for every, you're always limited by that 0.3%.
Well, and I believe that there's, until we really have some federal regulations set in place, transporting over state lines and transporting throughout interstate commerce, whatever the case is always going to have an issue, simply because there's not going to be any standardized testing, and there's not going to be any sort of proof that if it was tested in Kentucky, that it's legal in Colorado and all the way through, because between Kentucky and Colorado, every state has their own testing. Right. They have their own standards, they have their own facilities, they have everything. There's nothing set yet that is going to say, look, and until this happens, that's going to be the case. Until the federal government license a facility in Kentucky, license a facility in the Carolinas, license a facility in every single state that has the federal stamp of approval for that testing facility, you're going to run into those issues. Because once you have that, then you test through that facility, you get the federal stamp of approval. This was a facility that's approved by the federal government for us to be able to test this product. This is what it's testing at. And at that point, you have that paperwork, because that's all we can really go on. That's all anybody can trust. That's all that's our only get out of jail free card.
Yeah, that's
having the proper paperwork.
And that doesn't work.
And that doesn't work. I mean,
now the dog says it's pot.
No, and that's exactly right.
What'd you call him?
The dog sniffing. And trust me, I worked for a company for 3.5 years, and I transported, probably personally through the state of Colorado, I probably personally moved more grams of marijuana than any individual in the state of Colorado in 3.5 years.
Legally or
legally,
not?
completely through. Yeah,
this wasn't back.
And this was all this is all through metric. This is all done through. I mean, completely tracked. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was moving 10 to 15 tons a year. Wow. Personally moving that myself.
And through metric.
And completely done. And in doing so, I had to create every package. I had to have every package tracked through metric. I had to have every manifest done. I had to have every manifest completely done correctly, so that there wasn't anything done on that. There was so much paperwork that was done that if I ever got pulled over, I would almost flood somebody with too much paperwork to where they didn't want to have to bother me with it. Mm-hmm. And that's just in-state, transportation. I never got pulled over, but I always had that backing, and that was always my security. And until a transportation company has that type of security, and until other companies have that also security blanket with a transportation company, like I said, that's why we're doing what we're doing, and we're keeping it all in-house, because I don't want to put my livelihood, my partners, my investors, everybody else that has millions of dollars tied up into a business that is, well, we're doing everything in our power to work legitimately, is still scrutinized by a percentage of THC in another state or in another, and so until the federal government starts to kind of really have some sort of oversight of what we're truly doing here, and this is across the entire country, we're going to be at the mercy of whatever state you happen to drive through.
Mm-hmm. Mercy of not getting pulled over.
Fly.
and there, with the FAA, who knows?
No problem. That is my opinion. Is with the FAA, no problem. I think that
in-state only with that.
No,
state to state.
Flying,
because hemp is legal, and all of its cannabinoids, derivatives, extracts, isomers, salts of isomers, all that stuff. They specifically said that. So if you're in a legal state and you create, say you have a great big transport plane, you go to a federal place where it's legal, fly it through
leave from
federal,
legal and land in legal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that gets back to the shrinking it down.
And you're looking at the cost of that too. Driving it across country opposed to flying it across country is...
Well, what's the cost of getting pulled over in Oklahoma? 18 tons. Right. No, 9 tons. 18,000.
A month in jail.
And some attorney fees.
Trust
me. But no, and I understand, and I think that's where it is. But still, and again, even though if by chance you're capable of doing that, you're still at the mercy of however that product was tested in that state. So once you get it to wherever you're at, and you happen to take it to your facility to have it tested, whatever third party you happen to be using, you're at the mercy of whatever they test. And you may come back with 104% CBD.
Why can't all the labs test?
That's part of the problem in our industry is the lack of standardized testing
across the board.
You can take the same product to the same facility and get 2 different results. Definitely, if you take it to 2 different labs.
We talked about this last time. We've got friends that are taking a test in the school system, and then they're showing positive for THC. They're like, "Whoa! All I did was take CBD for my back."
What kind of test was it?
Oh, I had a personal story. I have a really good friend of mine who went to go get a state job. I've known this. I honestly have known this person since elementary school.
Wow.
He was a few years younger. My younger brother's really good friends. That's how long I've known him. I have been close to him all the way through. This guy has never smoked marijuana his entire life. I started smoking when I was really young. So I noticed these things. This guy has never touched, it just wasn't his thing.
Right.
And so he had some therapy he had to go through, and his physical therapist recommended him taking some CBD oil. So they got him some CBD oil, and it was supposed to be all taken care of and everything, and that's all he took. And when he went to go test for the state job, he came back hot with THC in the system.
Lost his job
and
families
lost the
in
ability.
disarray.
Yeah,
It's
so I
just a
mean,
horrible
he's
situation.
still unemployed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just and it's heartbreaking because he's a great guy, and this would have been wonderful for their family, but because of the lack of true testing,
Right.
and let's face it, I mean, there's facilities out there that don't want to fail stuff, because if they fail things, then they don't get more stuff to test, because
Right.
let's be honest, if I'm sending stuff to a facility and my stuff is consistently failing at this facility, but I send it over to this facility and it's consistently passing,
Right.
I'm sending it to this facility. Well, this facility is going to go, wait a minute, I just lost a lot of money this way, so we'll tweak our numbers a little bit, and guess what? You just passed.
Right.
And I'm not, I mean, and that's, and I'm not saying that that's happening, but the reality of it is that it can happen.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that there is no true regulation on the testing.
Right.
And that's the one, and I've said this for years, God, if I really had the sources to do so, I'd open testing facilities, because they're the ones right now that are the least regulated in doing any sort of business.
Demand.
And they have them, for all intents and purposes, they hold everybody by the balls.
Yeah.
Because if your stuff doesn't test properly, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So again, I think that it's one of the things that I talked to, actually it was funny, I talked to Patty about this. And again, last time we were on the show, it's the federal government is slow rolling this industry. And I believe that once they really start to get some things in place, this industry itself is going to move 10 times faster than it's currently moving. And that's just the bottom line. And a lot of it, let's be honest, a lot of it has to do with the testing, but the true factor of it is there's a lot of it has to do with banking.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of people that want to invest money and they don't feel good or safe that their money's going to be safe in it, I can't wait for the explosion.
Yeah.
I really cannot wait for the
banking.
explosion.
That's why Panacea went out of their way to try to come in with good, listen to me. I'm sorry. No, come in with the right results on every product that goes out our door. We invested in a waters testing machine.
Nice.
We test our products throughout the whole process, and then we go get a third party test, to make
Have
sure.
you seen a difference? Have you seen huge differences in the two?
Always.
Yeah. Wow.
Consistent dish. How about consistent
not
differences?
huge, but they're close. But there's differences.
But there's variations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But getting to roadside testing. Did you see the stuff on social media the other day on two companies that do those packets for the cops that do it on the roadsides?
Yeah.
They're all wrong. You could put air in it, just open it, put air in it, and shake it, and it's marijuana.
Really?
Or freaking LSD.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
They were putting all kinds of ridiculous shit in it, and it would come
Literally
back
shit
drug.
in it.
I mean, just stuff.
I wish I
this
would've
right
thought
here,
that.
right there would be heroin.
I wish I would have thought of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to ride that pony. Let's keep making a big deal out of that.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous because why it was on. A lot of people have lost their jobs and they've hurt their lives because they got pulled over and it said they were on meth or marijuana, and then a month later, when the tests come back from the States, they were clean.
Wow.
But that month, a job finds out. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
especially federal jobs.
Yeah, I mean, and let's face it, in today's society, most people are guilty before they're even proven innocent.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
It really is.
I mean, look what's going on in Boulder right now with the guy that got racially profiled. I don't know if you guys caught that.
He was out just picking up trash in his yard.
He was outside. He's outside picking up trash in the yard.
His
Has
house.
a trash stick that he's picking up the stuff from, and he's sitting there at gunpoint because an officer said that he wasn't being cooperative after he already identified himself, already said it's his house, already provided ID. And then the officer calls and gets back up and everything. It's just the mentality of where society is today is scary. And I'll be honest, I really pray and hope CBD is the freaking savior. Marijuana is the savior of our society. Hopefully that we start putting some actual. Well, I mean, let's face it. What
else can we agree on? This is the only thing our country can agree on.
Well, and not to get too scientific or get into the whole philosophy of stuff.
Or let's do.
I could, I could ramble on for days about this shit, obviously, but it's as simple as this: is that as a society, as human beings, for a long period of time before marijuana was criminalized, we all had hemp products of some sort in the system, in the human body's system. The natural cannabinoid system was always getting some sort of boost from that because it was being processed, it was being grown, it was always part of our society. 100 years ago, give or take, it was all shut off.
Right.
Well, like anything else, we've bred it out of our systems. So now, I'm not saying that there's truth in this, but look at the mental stability of where people are at today in society.
He's calling us crazy just there.
We're all a little crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm saner than I've been in a long time.
But who's to think that if we start introducing this back into
taking all those nasty ass pills,
Agree.
if we don't see a change in the whole aspect of our entire society, if we start introducing CBD and CBNs and CBGs and all the cannabinoids that our body is naturally depleting back into our systems, who's to think where we can actually take this? I mean, we're so infant in this startup again. That who's really saying? I can't wait. I'm actually, Amy's got me set up where I'm working with some NFL players because of the CTE and the traumatic brain injuries and stuff. I mean, like I said, I know my limitations. It took a long time to admit, but I have some issues with my head. There's problems. I beat the shit out of myself for a long time with zero regard for my body, and it's coming back to bite me. Sure. And I want to see if my cannabis use over the last 30 years plus years, with all the trauma that I have had, has actually kind of helped set some of that back, where some of these guys that haven't had that ability to have this in their system for that long, that where it's caused them to, unfortunately commit suicide. And if I can be a guinea pig, or if I can help out in any way, shape, or form, or find a way that these things are actually helping regenerate brain tissue, man, this is think of what it's going. I trust me, so do I. But what a way for us to change the world and to change lives, to be able to reintroduce something that is merely an ingredient in our bodies.
Right.
Agree.
And he met these guys at the Business Cannabis Awards. Or the Cannabis Business Awards. And so that was through Chloe. So
Chloe Vanilla.
Hi, Chloe. Good job.
Hope you're having fun in Spain.
She's got her next event in July. Did you see that? It's in L.A.
What's that?
Her next Cannabis Awards.
All right, nice.
Yep.
Nice.
July 20th, I believe.
Good for her.
Yeah. I love those.
So that's a lot of the reason why I was in, I've been in marijuana here for the last 10 years. I started a dispensary in 2009. So I've seen everything that goes through, and I'd much rather see the transition into this.
Well, I'm going out on a limb. I'm somewhat happy that the federal government took it all away. 88 years ago, 90 years ago. It didn't stop me. I still, medicated me. But what would you be doing right now in life? I love this industry.
I think I'd be trading stocks.
Yeah, I would.
I'd be on.
Interior
I'm not doing
design.
anything else.
Marketing company.
I'd still
went
be
to
at
art school
golf. I'd
for
still be
interior
golfing.
design.
I'd be working at a golf
Yeah.
course.
What did you do immediately before entering the cannabis?
You know, I was always in mortgages, or I dabbled a little bit, trying to broker diamonds and gold. We lived in South Florida.
Oh yeah.
And so I was always an entrepreneur. Always, I was the kid with the lemonade stand, the gift wrapping stand at Christmas.
I never heard of the gift wrapping
Yes,
stand.
I did that. My mom was
That
my
is
best
awesome.
client.
Oh my God, that she was.
It was her scissors, her tape, her wrapping paper.
She pays.
But yeah, so,
then-
this is gonna be a good year.
So then, in what 2009 or when you guys?
We moved here in 2009. He opened the shop, and I got involved in the industry through digital signage, selling the green screens. It wasn't called green screens, but it was just like that company. The digital signage in all the dispensaries, and then transitioned to wholesaling. And the state said you must have this license to drive it to your clients. I'm like, okay, got to get this license. It's a 406 transport. And so here I am almost 2 years later
To transport signs.
to transport the THC product
okay.
to my clients. So transportation.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're going to make it a whole distribution and look at other states. And
Yeah.
Was there concern from either of you when you entered the industry that this is a one-way trip?
yes.
Like you can never get a job in another industry. That's what people told me.
I've already experienced it.
Yeah. He's like stuck.
When I transitioned, I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. Last February, a year ago February, I went through a transition, and I basically said, you know, I'm done with this industry. I'm tired of working really hard for a lot of people and watching everybody make a lot of money and screw you over after you've done well for them.
Yep.
And I put my application out, and when you have 10 years essentially wrapped up in the last 10 years of your life running marijuana companies, you can't really skip that.
No.
So I can't go back to what I was doing
brag
10
about it,
years
though.
ago.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't go back to my real life of what I was doing prior to. So as I had to put in there, my skills of managing this and starting that and running this type of deal, I got a lot of, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And if we have something that opens up, we'll let you know.
Sure.
And, and it was jobs I know I was qualified for, but again, I ended up opening a consulting company, and for 8 months I was doing consulting for actually a grow and an extraction company. And that was my only option. I had to do something, and I wasn't able to find something outside of the industry. And then luckily when December rolled around and everybody started getting on the CBD train, and then when the Farm Bill passed, I kind of saw the same thing that I saw in 2009. And to be honest with you, it's the same thing. It's the ability to get in something that's pretty much ground level and run with it. And so we're going to run with it.
I think that's fantastic. Too labor intensive for me, but growing hemp, if you do it right, you can do well at it.
I'll design the hell out of some hemp fields.
Oh my
There you go.
I don't mind. I like getting out there, getting dirty, and driving
Exterior
tractors.
designer.
Michael Miller, what are you doing 420? Anybody have 420 plans already
I
in
kind of
place?
want to
or events?
I kind of want to be involved in a party.
I want to disappear for a week.
So I've got some
I
events
didn't
to
even-
mention.
Yeah, go ahead. I
So
didn't
one
even
is the 27th
remember.
at the Joint, the dispensary at the Joint. They have Cheech coming. So he's going
Yeah.
to be doing a whole VIP meet and greet and
That's
stuff.
March
and then the
27th.
next March 27th, yep.
Nice.
So that's going to kick off the whole 420 holiday season.
I would like to do that.
Yeah.
How do you get to do that?
So we'll have to figure out how to get
Is it
you
RSVP
there. It's
or-
by the Joint, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next day is the 28th at the Rooster, and so Cheech will be there as well.
What's
It'll
the
be a good time. You
rooster?
guys should come.
Like the
The
publication?
magazine, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In
Yep.
Boulder?
Endeavor's going to sponsor it, the Endeavor Fire Pen, with all those killer flavors. They've got the grapefruit.
They're doing some crazy stuff.
Yes!
Like PJ, is that
PJ
right?
Baker?
Yeah.
Did they just merge with the company and then go public? Is that what
They
this
Yeah.
happened?
they have been
They're in
doing
the
a
CSE.
lot of stuff. PJ's been
He's a good guy.
they've been
He is
doing
a good
some
guy.
If you guys
shaking and
haven't,
moving.
if you guys haven't,
PJ!
Cannabis One.
if you haven't seen an Endeavor product, like for example, I wish I had one with me right now,
Oh, I
but
know.
they have a pen that's like a really classy pen, like the type that you would take to meeting somebody you're trying to impress. And it's also a fully functional, just perfect little vaporizer.
Like a writing pen.
Yeah. It looks.
took mine to
Their
Costa Rica.
flavors are amazing.
I did.
What was your favorite flavor? The chocolate mint? It's like an Andes chocolate mint, and then
Really?
grapefruit and lime or
like
lemon.
I don't know. I like the mint just because it almost has that flavor of the after dinner mint.
Sure.
The Andes. Yeah, it's amazing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hashtag
PJ's are good.
Endeavor. Yeah.
IND.
Go to the joint.
INDVR.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Endeavor. So they're sponsoring the Rooster event on the 28th, and then at their dispensary, which is the joint, that's where Teach will be the 27th.
That sounds
That'd
like
be
fun.
really good time.
Somebody was just calling me from Beverly Hills. Do you think that's fancy, or do you think that they're going to tell me that my car insurance is
How many calls do you get a day?
like
Holy
just
cow.
tons?
Yeah. From Beverly Hills?
No,
Can we grow in Beverly Hills?
From what?
I said, can we grow in Beverly Hills?
I'm sure there's some indoor small
Maybe they're
grows.
calling because they want our products in Beverly Hills.
That's what's up.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be.
They heard about Endeavor.
Yeah, and heard about Endeavor.
Yeah.
Tell us about some nonprofit stuff. Like
Yeah.
last time you were here,
thank
you
you.
alluded to
Yes.
that you had been working on some nonprofit things kind of behind
Definitely.
the scenes, but now you can tell us more.
Thanks, Travis. So last year, my company had a golf tournament called Kicking Cancer's Ass.
Oh, nice.
It was for our friend Jason. He's still battling cancer.
Jason who?
Margulies?
Yeah.
He's with Green Dot.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
He is like the #1 green dot guy.
Yeah.
But so this year, so we're going to carry that tradition on annually. And this year, we're going to represent 2 different people. One is Zachariah. So let me just spell his last name so everyone can be friends with him on Facebook. It's ELHS.
Wait, slow down.
Let's tag him.
Yeah.
But he needs a lot of love. He's bedridden. This is actually, it's Chloe Villano's brother.
Oh, really?
And that's how I
Okay.
met Zach, yes.
Yeah, we were
but
talking about, God.
He's
such a
32.
shame.
He's bedridden in a nursing home. It's
EL what?
ELHS. Zachariah.
Why is that?
Fantastic guy. Dev and I went to go visit him, and it's just, he needs help. So we need to get him a lot of love on Facebook, friends, whatever you can do just to show him some support. He does have a GoFundMe page. And we can post that too, or I can post that after.
And don't forget, Jenny Gold's. Jenny Gold.
Team Jenny Gold.
Put that up there. We can't forget about her.
And then the third situation is
Can never forget about Jenny.
No, definitely not.
and the third person I really want to mention is Georgia Forsey. So Georgia is not only a dear friend, but she's the back end support of Sharp Solutions. So she does head of dispatch, but her son was taken from her, and he's being held in Mexico.
What?
What?
Yeah.
By who?
So by the father. It's a very, very heart-wrenching story, but we're trying to raise massive money to get her some legal attention. It brings tears in my eyes, so it's hard to talk about. So just a horrific story. Not only domestic violence all throughout the relationship, but then he was speaking Thai to a Thai judge. Somehow she signed off on some paperwork. The next day the kid's gone, or within hours the kid's gone. She had to come back to the United States, get legal representation here, ran out of money. The kid's in Mexico while dad fishes like 8 months out of the year in Alaska, being watched by another woman. It's the worst story I've ever heard, and I don't know how it's gone through the cracks like this, but she started a GoFundMe page, her mom did. We're going to continue that on, but we started a Facebook page called Bring Kodiak Home.
Bring Kodiak home.
So whatever we can do to get some legal help to see how this case can be brought to another judge's attention and why it's gone.
So that
the way
happened
it
in
has.
Thailand?
The kid was taken from her in Thailand. Then she came to the United States, touched ground in Tennessee. And I think that's why jurisdiction is in Tennessee, although she never lived there. The father hasn't paid taxes in since 94. It's it's unbelievable. Domestic violence all up and down, and yeah. So Bring Kodiak Home. We need lots of love and attention on that GoFundMe. So this community, we have a lot of people sick, and we have a lot of people that need help, right?
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Did Jenny come on today?
Where's Jenny Gold?
No.
Jenny Gold. No.
No,
See
Jenny
if Georgia
Gold.
Forsey's on.
Oh, there's Zev.
Hi, Zev.
What's up, Zach?
What's up,
I think
Zev?
I saw Jenny down there in the middle, wasn't she?
Mike
Yeah, there's
Webb's
Zach.
joined. David Beckett.
No.
Ron Cole, thanks for joining. From Sensi Magazine.
Oh, hey, Sensi.
That's what I was. So that's the one thing I know I'm going to do around 420 so far.
Yeah.
What's that?
Is
April 17th, I believe. Is that the Sensi 30-year anniversary?
Yeah, whenever that Sensi party is, that's the place to
I
be.
want to go.
That is the place.
Yeah, we'll probably be there.
Yeah. I missed the last one that they had last
Oh, they're
couple
so
weeks
fun.
ago. Yeah.
We love Sensi.
Yeah.
Brian Rainwater, Angie Valdez, thanks for joining.
Angie.
Ox Bethel, thank you.
There's
as
Jenny
always.
Gold.
Jimmy Smurs.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I thought Jimmy's hey, Jenny Gold. I thought Jimmy was. I thought Jimmy SMRZ was like his Facebook last name, but he testified at the state capitol a couple weeks ago,
Right.
and that's his Smurs.
Smurs.
The man with no vowels. That's awesome.
Smurs.
SMRZ.
The man with no vowels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
Who else is on?
So we got Ryan Skidmore.
A lot of good
What's
people.
up,
Hey, Ryan.
Skids?
Asking
You know,
how
it's
It's been a
Oregon
while
is.
since we've seen him.
Rick
Yeah, we know
Wainwright.
Rick.
Yeah.
And
Good people.
Hey, Veedverks is listening.
There's Billy Cox.
All right, Veedverks.
What's up, Bud Tender?
William.
Billy the Bud Tender.
We
So
should do
Sharp
that
Solu-
regularly. We should have like a little buzzer that goes off, and we go, "Oh yeah, let's say hi to everybody who's
Yeah,
joining."
you
Yeah,
should.
absolutely.
A little shout out, Buzzard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sharp Solutions, what exactly is that? Transportation or
Yeah,
what?
so we're transportation only in the state of Colorado
Right.
for THC. We're entertaining doing interstate transportation for hemp when we
Right.
can do that and not have any issues. We're just letting some dust settle. But
Because that's needed for him. Here
it's definitely
in the
needed.
state.
So needed. I
Yeah.
get calls all the time from all these broker friends, and
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. No, I can't. Just
You won't do a hemp if it's going from Pueblo to here?
for sure.
yeah, okay.
100%
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah.
I just want to wait for this interstate
Yeah.
to but we're aligning to cross states, looking to go into Oregon and Washington, Northern California, Nevada, and then
Nice.
obviously stay here in Colorado and conquer that. But
Yeah.
we've got a lot of growth coming up, a lot of good plans.
Nice.
Yep.
Does anybody
exciting.
know anything about Texas? Hemp in Texas?
Yeah, what's going on in Texas?
It's a big state.
It's a big state.
Austin's got a lot of stuff going on. I know that.
Austin's a great town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Stacey Thompson still in Texas? Stacey
Oh, you're from
Thompson?
San Antonio.
I lived in San Antonio a long
yeah.
time.
Yeah. How'd you like that?
I liked it. It was like, no lie, too hot for me.
Yeah.
Like there's a Grateful Dead song about going where the climate suits my clothes.
Yeah.
Or it's an original.
Nice.
Going where the climate suits my clothes.
Did you hear
I
that?
moved to
guy?
San Antonio, and I
Get
moved
the
to San
guitar.
Antonio, and I thought I don't have a single thing to wear in this town, and it took me a
kickers and a
long
hat.
time.
Yeah.
It took me a long time before my clothes suited where I was living, and then I still stored them away for just in case I ever got to basically.
What
move
were you
back to
doing there?
Colorado. I was in the Air Force, and then I did a startup company. We made computer-based training primarily for military contracts. We were a GSA. We were a military contractor.
Nice.
And then I started focusing on the pharmaceutical industry because for a while we were making these little pocket-sized, like business card-sized CD-ROMs that would fit into that inner tray.
I remember those.
And we could get them cut into any shape that we wanted to. And so I thought those would be great for drug reps to go detail physicians with.
Sure.
And
nice.
so I started trying to hit up drug companies and ended up going to work for one of those companies for basically 13 years. I was the director of digital strategy.
Nice.
Big time.
Then did this.
yeah.
I got-
And then I did this.
Yeah, then I did this.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, I had an office in San Antonio a couple times. I just couldn't flip it there.
It's hot.
No, just I was consulting the Better Business Bureau there off Harry Warsbach exit. Is where their office was, and it was probably the worst Better Business Bureau in the country.
Wow.
Can you join the regular Chamber of Commerce in Colorado
I
yet
was
if
just-
you're a cannabis business?
I think the one in Denver is the first one to start allowing it.
Didn't you start the first chamber here? For
No, we're
campus?
talking about. Are you talking about Chamber of Commerce?
just regular
she's
Chamber
talking
of
about
Commerce.
regular.
Okay.
No, the Better Business Bureau, believe it or not, is allowing members now.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good to know.
yeah.
I guess I'll join them.
Well, I know there's some people out there that don't want that.
I know. I was just thinking that who doesn't want to be on that list?
I'm thinking about going to talk to our banker. We got a new branch manager.
Nice.
Not an IB or sorry about
Not
that. TCF Bank.
Yeah.
I think they went out of business because they suck so bad. And if you're in a hemp company, never go to TCF Bank.
Are they a credit union?
Suck. I don't.
They're just a bank.
Yeah, they're a bank. There's a couple branches I see.
They're just awful.
with
But we're at a
credit
decent
union.
bank right now, but they just switched bank managers. And so the new bank manager called me, branch manager called me, wants me to come in and talk to him about banking opportunities. So I wonder.
They called you.
Well, they called us, and they know that we're a hemp company, but I wonder if this new guy truly gets it. And so I'm going to sit down and be like, here's everything that we do.
Yeah.
Do we still have a bank account? Because if
That's what
not.
you just got done doing, yeah, for sure.
Really? You did? What bank?
it all out.
Well, we're currently doing business as somebody else at a bank, but I am working with another institution that, if everything goes right, we've got our application in. We'll be the first hemp approved company there. They know everything we're doing. We'll actually not have to go under our DBA name. We can go under our actual true name. But until that happens, I'm not saying a damn thing until they're like, give us your money and we're good to go. Because again, it's the same situation. As we were getting this thing started, you have to have a place where you can put money. And when you're going out and you're putting your money and other people's money into a bank that you're having to trust, it's not so much fun having to let them know that you're doing something kind of this way, but
Right.
and they're okay with it as long as
We're
they
almost
don't
there.
know what you're doing.
Right.
But I honestly, as I was calling around and being as open and forthright as I could with these banks, I probably called 20 to 25 different banks.
Wow.
And everybody I talked to, we would love to do that, but we just can't yet, or there's one bank. Yeah, we can do it. I went down, got everything going. And they're like, hold on, we have to go make a phone call real quick. Go back. Oh, yeah, our board just
Yeah.
decided.
Right when I called.
Oh, I just happened to be sitting here during the board meeting. God damn, I got the luck of the Irish thing. But yeah, and that's the kicker to this too is that there's so much being held back
Right.
from what we could truly do with this industry.
We're almost there,
because
I think.
of the banking. And I think, you see it, there's legislation going into place. It's going to happen because, I mean, again, when you have the ability that it's going to generate revenue,
Yeah.
people are going to want to see that revenue. And
This is a big year.
I mean, I think so too, and I want to ride it until 2021 because I believe that in the next 2 years, it's when somebody's talking to me about this the other day, and I said, I liken this to a lot about the Industrial Revolution, is that we are going to see more advancement in the next 5 years than we had in the previous 10 combined.
Oh, for sure.
And in the next
It's a crazy
5
thought.
years after that, it's going to be more than the 15 years combined. And it's going to do that as we continue to grow because, again, this industry is so new and getting started in what we're trying to accomplish that as other factors, I mean, let's just look at these plastic bottles we have our water in. Wait till they're all made with hemp. It's going to happen. It is going
Let's
to
make plastic
happen.
illegal.
What about hemp
Outlaw it.
plastic? That's what I don't
Let's
get
do
about.
that. Yes.
Like, I have my brother and I, when my dad got sick, we both went home to maybe say goodbye to him. And we were there that night.
Who? Your brother?
No, my brother and I went to go see my dad.
Okay.
And, where he told us all the, before he had the surgery, because it was brutal. It was,
Yeah, sure.
But we came up with this idea about unfluoridated water, which is just distilled water, but you just call it unfluoridated water. So turned out unfluoridated.com wasn't even taken yet. So now I have this dilemma where I've got this great idea for selling water that doesn't have fluoride in it, but I'm against plastic bottles as much as we go through them.
So you're against healthy teeth too, I guess.
I'm just saying some people don't want fluoride water. It's like
They're saying milk's bad for you now.
Everything's bad.
Yeah,
Everything's
of course it
bad
is.
for you.
Yeah.
except for cannabis.
Except for weed.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we all thought.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's bad. But weed's pretty much good for you.
Yeah, if it's grown right in good soil, it's one of the healthiest.
It should
plants in
taste
the world.
good.
Yeah.
You know,
Shout out to Bubba.
one last thing about my
Bad.
my dad in Kansas is that he just told me that his general physician, like the first doctor with the testified against medical marijuana at the Kansas Capitol.
Really?
So
Against
I can't
it.
wait to just antagonize that freaking guy.
Oh my gosh, you're like, let me at him right now.
Like, I just wait. If you don't die of something first, Doc, you're gonna get cancer.
Yeah.
Times are
Any last words?
no, just
Amy Sharp?
fight
Amy
the
Sharp?
fight.
Michael Miller? No, I'm good. Thanks for having
job.
us. We
Of
love
course.
being here, you guys. This is so much fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you know any jokes?
He's got a boatload of jokes.
Oh, nuts.
He asks everyone, senators, Senator Diane Savino. You got a joke?
Yeah.
She was smart though. She came right back.
Yeah.
Quick. She-
Nice. That's
No.
awesome.
She goes, none that I can say on air.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
nice.
is even better. Yeah, I
love
like
it.
that.
Always have a joke.
Yeah.
Who's next on your show?
Maybe Fox. We were supposed to have him yesterday, but the guy who puts it all together, he's in Spain right now for the conference. And it was just, I didn't get a response back fast enough. So I said, let's just make it another day.
Have fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be worth
You
it
guys have
though.
great
People.
Yeah, it will be.
It's gonna be worth
It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, I got to get.
You gotta get.
I've got-
All right, you start getting. I'm gonna tell people that tomorrow at noon I'm playing Hempire, and I'm doing it with people with Andrew from Hempire Skyped in. So we're gonna ask a bunch of questions about that game, such
it.
as how is
you
it
ever
possible that my net worth is less than my cash? Yeah. So, and then at 2:00 we have a man whose name I just brain dumped. I think it's I'm not going to guess at it, but he's a Kentucky hemp farmer that's in town, and we're going to just pick at him for the same type of information that we're asking you. We're figuring out how to grow
Spread the
hemp
word.
across the country. Then Thursday at 1:30 we have Wendy and Karen from the Marijuana Show and from
Oh, yeah.
Club Hemp.
I've known them
They're
for a
gonna
long
Skype
time.
in.
They're great girls.
They're
love
going to
them.
be a lot of fun. So
That'll be
those
fun
are the
to
shows
watch.
I know about. But thank you everybody for tuning
Thanks for
in.
having
Thanks
us.
you guys
We
for
love being
coming.
here.
Grow more hemp.
Yeah, if you don't get hemp here, get hemp, somewhere.
Take care, guys.
Fun. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
That was really fun.
Yeah, I've 1 minute to get